Atlantis. The name conjures images of a lost civilization, swallowed by waves millennia ago. It's a tale that has captivated humanity for centuries, inspiring countless books, films, and art. But was Atlantis real, a tangible piece of our forgotten past, or was it merely a product of Plato's imagination? A cautionary tale about hubris. The truth remains elusive. The story of Atlantis first surfaced in the writings of Plato around 360 BC. In his dialogues, Plato describes a powerful island nation, technologically advanced and militarily superior. He paints a vivid picture of their magnificent city, adorned with gold, silver, and precious stones. Atlantis, according to Plato, was a utopian society, founded on wisdom and virtue. However, over time, its people became consumed by greed and ambition. This moral decay led to their downfall, as the gods unleashed a cataclysmic event that plunged Atlantis into the ocean. The question of whether Atlantis is fact or fiction has fueled debate for centuries. Some believe Plato's account is based on a real historical event, perhaps a catastrophic natural disaster. Others argue that Atlantis is purely allegorical, a fictional creation designed to illustrate philosophical points about morality and power. Plato's account of Atlantis is remarkably detailed, lending an air of plausibility to the story. He describes the island's geography, its social structure, and even its military organization. Atlantis was a concentric island, surrounded by alternating rings of water and land. The city was a marvel of engineering and architecture. The Atlanteans were technologically advanced. They possessed knowledge of metallurgy, shipbuilding, and hydraulic engineering. They constructed a vast network of canals and harbors. Plato's description of Atlantis is not without its problems. He places the island's destruction at around 9,600 BC. The scale of the cataclysm seems implausible from a geological standpoint. Despite these inconsistencies, Plato's account of Atlantis continues to fascinate. The story's appeal lies in its themes of lost glory and technological prowess. It speaks to our fascination with the ancient world and lost knowledge. Over the centuries, numerous theories have been put forward attempting to locate Atlantis or to prove its existence. Some have sought to identify Atlantis with real-world locations, such as the Greek island of Santorini, which was devastated by a volcanic eruption in the 16th century BC. Others have pointed to underwater structures, such as the Bimini Road in the Bahamas, as evidence of submerged cities. One of the most persistent theories links Atlantis to the story of the flood, which appears in the Bible and other ancient texts. Proponents of this theory argue that the flood was a global cataclysm that wiped out a highly advanced civilization, which they identify as Atlantis. They point to the similarities between the two stories, such as the destruction of a powerful civilization by a divine deluge, as evidence for their claim. Another line of speculation focuses on the possibility that Atlantis was located in Antarctica. This theory, popularized by Charles Hapgood in his book Earth's Shifting Crust, suggests that a sudden shift in the Earth's crust caused Atlantis to move from a temperate location to its current position at the South Pole. While these theories are intriguing, they lack concrete evidence. The archaeological and geological data simply does not support the existence of a technologically advanced civilization existing in the distant past, let alone one that was wiped out in a cataclysmic event. Section 4. Atlantis as fiction debunking the myth. The most likely explanation for the legend of Atlantis is that it is a fictional creation, a product of Plato's imagination. As a philosopher, Plato was known for using allegories and myths to illustrate his teachings. It is entirely possible that Atlantis was never intended to be taken literally, but rather as a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris and the transient nature of power. The details of Plato's story, while seemingly specific, can be seen as symbolic rather than literal. The concentric rings of Atlantis, for example, could represent the different levels of society, while the island's eventual destruction could symbolize the inevitable decline of all empires. The lack of any archaeological or geological evidence for Atlantis further supports the argument that it is a myth. Despite numerous expeditions and underwater explorations, no trace of a submerged city matching Plato's description has ever been found. While the idea of Atlantis as a real place is certainly appealing, it is important to approach such claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and in the case of Atlantis, that evidence is simply lacking.